I think we are live. Let's see if this is working. I'm sure Twitch chat will let us know if this is not working. I think we are live. Let's see if this is working. Hey guys, I'm sure we are live here from CCP headquarters. I'm CCP Guard. This is. Hey guys, we are live. What? Let me. Here from CCP. Yes. Okay. So just a minute. We're working out some little things, and we'll be right with you. Yep. Okay, cool. Hey, I'm CCP Guard. This is CCP Lebowski. We're here to give you a live demo of the moon mining and reactions feature that is coming this winter, October 24th, to be precise, in EVE Lifeblood, which is our winter expansion. More accurately, we are going to punch a moon in its face and take its lunch money.
Yes.
Yeah. So. That's pretty awesome, and we're gonna be seeing a lot of people come in hopefully soon, because I think we are just posting an in-game announcement to let everybody in the game know what's happening. But we're not gonna get it because we're on a special test server here, where we can do things that are not yet quite in the game.
Yes, we are going to show you some stuff that is on Singularity now, so you can go and test this all out on the Singularity test server. But yeah, it's pretty good. Hopefully everything's all right. Doesn't look like anyone's complaining. So,
no. So yeah. Okay. So I hope Twitch chat is doing pretty great and ready to see some moons getting punched. So with some people here maybe who haven't done a lot of moon mining themselves, or haven't been maybe playing EVE even for that long. Mm-hmm. What's the background to give them? Because we're doing new things now, so let's tell people a little bit about it if they don't know about it. What has moon mining sort of been up until now?
So for people who don't know, moon mining is as it sounds, the process of extracting valuable resources from the moons in game, which most systems have many different moons. Up until now, it's been something that's been performed on the old POS system, as it's called, so the old control towers that have been in the game for a long while now. And it would be a system where people would set up a moon drill, and then every hour that moon drill would tick over and it would pull some resources out of the moon. And then with those resources you could do reactions and stuff that generally either to make boosters that you can use for pilots, or you can make components that go into manufacturing some of the better ships in games, so Tech 2 and Tech 3 ships. Mostly because it's been something that you could set up and then leave. It would be something that one guy could theoretically do, maybe 30, 40, sometimes. I'm sure there are some people out there that do even more of this, of these POS control towers, and do lots of this stuff, and then you periodically go around and make sure everything's working and pull out all your nice resources. And that will be something that someone would probably tend to do under the control of an alliance. So alliance would own their towers, and one guy would be the man who operates all the different towers and gets them the moon minerals. And things are changing now. The new system is going to be a bit more active, and we're going to go through that today and kind of explain how that works as we go.
We've already told people, we've written some dev blogs and we posted about this before, but we really want to give you guys more of a feel for what this actually is and how it works. So we want to show you live. I saw someone asking us about, before we go on, someone was asking us about the ship we're flying, and I guess we're going to get those questions unless we tell them what this is.
Yeah. So actually also a request from in-game chat. Have you turned the music down already?
We turned it down.
We turned it down to 4, and I hope.
Let us know, Twitch, if it's too.
Yes.
Also, if you could turn up CCP Lebowski's mic a little bit.
Am I too low on this thing? Am I this
let's try that.
What on his side? Just turn the dial a little bit.
Yeah.
Hello. Am I louder now?
A little bit. Hopefully.
Am I as loud as?
Just keep the feedback coming, and we'll try to react to it as we go. But
so the Cockroach. The Cockroach is a vessel that's mostly used by CCP devs and by our bug hunting teams and other sects of the ISD. This is what it looks like. You can see here that it is kind of ridiculous. It has fighter support, it has unlimited resist essentially, so it has Yeah, 7.5. Is that 7.5 billion hit points?
Yeah.
It's
That's a few hit points.
It can fit all turrets, all launchers. It has every single kind of bay that you can imagine, including some weird ones that I don't think actually ever made it into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool ship.
Really good for testing, but not coming in the winter expansion. So
No,
sorry, no.
Sadly not.
Expectation management.
yeah, we got to say that's
Yeah.
off the bat.
But we're going to use this today to deploy some things and do some mining.
Yeah. So yeah. I guess
Should we
get
just
started.
get started? We got a lot of people in chat. Over 2,000 people watching, which is awesome. And if anybody didn't catch our names, they're on the screen actually. So let's skip that part again. Let's just get straight to it. What do we have to do first?
So first of all, we're gonna take a look at a moon, and we're gonna want to know what resources are in the moon that we want to mine. So let's head over to this moon here. For example. We'll just warp over here.
Alrighty.
And the way that you find resources in the moon is very similar to the old systems, identical except for some new UI that make some updates to the UI that makes this easier, and some minor tweaks to the modules. And what you do is essentially you fire a probe from a survey probe launcher into the moon. So we're here at this moon, and we're going to just aim towards it. We've got our survey probe launcher fitted here with some gaze survey probes, which are the fastest of the survey probes. They all take a little bit of time. These ones are going to take only about 2.5 minutes. So we'll fire that off, and we'll get this window up here.
Alrighty. So this is going to give us the information we need about what is inside the moon.
Exactly.
The things that we like, the lunch money.
Exactly, the lunch money. Yeah. So you can do multiple moons at once, and each one will count down independently. You need to stay in the system in space until the probe finishes its duration. When it's done, it's going to give us a nice readout of what's in this moon, and that's going to give us an idea of what we're going to get when we do the moon mining. And so I imagine on release day there's going to be some rush to find this out, because we'll be redistributing these minerals.
Yeah. So like it's that's an important thing actually, because where you like everything you know about where to find the good stuff now on Tranquility is not going to be the same information once this hits.
Yeah. You're also not getting any concrete information now. What we've got at the moment is a very faked version of the moon distribution. This is just going to give us, I think the moons on the test servers are currently like between 1 to 4 random minerals. Some moon, some normal. So you'll see this pop up in a minute with some information on that.
Yeah. And there is going to be some variance in what you will find in different places and in different moons.
Yeah.
So, like
the way it's going to work is it's going to be a reasonably random distribution. So we're not going to hand pick each moon here and there, but there will be some parameters as to how that is set up, and there will still be some, like you say, some regional differences. So some places will have more of a certain type, and some places will have less, that kind of stuff.
Okay. So yeah, people are going to have to find some things here, something there, or do some trading and
some intel gathering, I'm sure there'll be some deception involved, and some
good things,
subterfuge, that all that lovely Eve stuff.
Yeah. And is there for the people who like to go and look for information on test servers in advance, is there going to be any way for people to know what's what in that regard?
They won't. What we'll probably do is we'll put up a realistic simulation of what will be on Tranquility, but on the day of release it will be completely different. It'll just give you an idea of how the distribution, like what kind of numbers of more ores and things you'll expect in each moon. But you won't be able to find out without going on the main server.
That's pretty cool. So the Gold Rush starts October 24 when Lifeblood launches.
Yeah.
And we have some results there already.
Yeah, so we've got some of these moon ores here. So I mean, some people may look at this and go, I don't want that. But for us, I think this will do for our moon mining.
This is exactly the composition we were hoping for today.
This is perfect. So this is I can't believe we got it exactly right on the first try.
It's it's a stroke of luck.
That's pretty good. So if we're happy with this, we can use this moon, and I think what we'll do is we'll go back to the menu for this moon, and we'll see that there is a new option, which is got some wonderful placeholder text.
Ooh.
which is the mining point. Now, what Upwell have done is they've gone to every moon that's possible to be moon mined, the moon that you can mine, and they've created these Upwell beacons, which are the designated points where you can anchor their structures.
Yeah.
So we'll land on grid with that here. We can see the beacon here.
Upwell are of course a very helpful corporation for anyone in space.
They want you to do tons of things in space as long as you use their structures. They're very
exactly.
Yeah, they're very.
It kind of always plays into it somehow.
Yeah. So this is the beacon, and what this means is no other structures can be anywhere within the range of this moon. I think it's about 4,000 kilometer restriction. But refineries, the new structures, can be placed within 250 kilometers, of this beacon.
Okay.
So I guess we'll go ahead and do that. So,
okay, let's get this going. So what do we do next?
So in here, I've got one of these new structures, the Totaro, which is the larger of the two. There are two versions, medium and large. Both will be able to do moon mining.
Awesome.
But they'll just have, as with the other structures, they'll have the ability to fit slightly different rigs, which will give different bonuses. And also this one will have different high slot, numbers and different vulnerability periods and things like that.
Okay.
So with the other Upwell structures, what we're going to do is we can just drag it into space.
Nice.
Now, I should say at this point that a lot of the stuff you're going to see today is in a very early state. It's a lot of the effects, a lot of the UI is placeholder or not final. Normally, as people might know who go on Singularity a lot, normally features reach Singularity about a month before they release. But as you can probably tell, we're over a month before our release date at the moment. But we've made an effort to get lots of this stuff out early because it obviously requires a lot of testing. It's a big change. So a lot of this stuff is placeholder. So you can see now actually this is a kind of a placeholder representation of what you'll see when you're trying to place this structure. This red circle currently indicates the area in which you can put one of these structures, and in the middle we have a placeholder hologram which just illustrates that it's for refineries. This is the hologram that we'll pull around, and as you can see, if I move out of this area,
you can't place it there.
You can't place it.
Yeah.
But in here is a valid location, and as I said before, you're going to have to be in these locations if you want to do moon mining.
Someone asks if you can place a pair of them.
So they have the same kind of restrictions that other Upwell structures have in relation to each other. So if one person places one of these structures, no one else will be able to place in this area. They'd have to destroy this structure. But that's actually a great point to come up at this point, because I've got something new to show people, which people may not realize.
Okay.
One thing that came up from discussions with the CSM and on the forums and at FanFest was the idea that that there could be a potential gameplay here where it would just be a question of who manages to drag the item into space first. And that's not really good fun.
It's stressful and not not the most fun gameplay.
You don't want it so if you've controlled the area of space, but someone else gets there and manages to quickly get it into space, they win.
Dump a space station and everybody has to leave. Like, sorry, my space.
So a change that's happening to refineries, but will also be happening to all Upwell structures on October 24th, is a new vulnerability period, a new repair cycle, I should say, that will happen right at the start of the process. So let's call this, should we call it Guards?
Yeah, I like it.
Holiday Home.
Yay, that sounds great.
Cool.
That's what I do on my holidays anyway.
Yeah, just do a bit of mining.
Yeah.
Nice and relaxing.
Yeah.
So we'll add some vulnerability hours as normal. As I said, with the UI and the graphics, the stats here are all placeholder as well, so this isn't necessarily the final vulnerability hours. We have a dev blog coming out with some more information about the structures coming out in the next couple of weeks, I think. So wait for that for some more final numbers. But for now, we'll add these hours and we'll anchor this structure.
All right.
And there we go. So you can see it's entered this first repair cycle, which is 15 minutes, just like any other repair cycle. And this basically means that if someone manages to attack the structure during this time, it'll pause the cycle as normal, and if they kill it, it'll just explode, and the structure will never get to be anchored. What this means is when you're anchoring an Upwell structure, you have to control the area of space that you're anchoring it in. You can't just deny a fight for 24 hours by being the quickest the quickest stuff.
That's awesome. So so you really you can't just go and plop them down in enemy space and
and yeah, in front of all your
Yeah,
enemies.
not a great idea.
Screw you guys. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So you have to control the grid, and this is the prepare to anchor stage.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're just going to speed this up a little bit for the sake of showing everyone.
Yes.
So I'll just set this timer to 15 seconds for now.
Yeah, that's a good thing for a broadcast like this.
Yeah. Someone's asking what happened to the 24-hour timer. The 24-hour timer still happens after this. You'll see this come up now. So you have this first 15 minutes. You have the 24-hour cycle, and then after that, you'll have the final 15 minutes. So if someone misses the first cycle, they can still attack at the end of the anchoring period if they want.
Yeah.
So you can see the lovely hologram here for the structure. And what we'll do is we'll just cheat a little bit again.
And this is on a test server, ladies and gentlemen. So just to be clear.
And we're over in the kind of the Jove regions as well at the moment. Yeah, report me all you want.
Yeah, they want the feature for setting timers. Seems to be a popular feature.
So here you go. It's finished the 24-hour cycle now.
Okay,
so that was quick. And
it's like a cooking show. That's
yeah, exactly. We just speed it up for the purpose of television.
Okay.
So now it's in the final repair cycle as normal, which still.
Can we do a little spin around and take a look at the thing?
Yeah, let's just set this to finish off that final repair cycle, and while it's doing that, we can have a little look at Guard's holiday home. So this is the Tatara. This is the, like I said, the largest of the structures. The small one looks really cool too. It's got the 3 undocking ports here, and it's got this huge ring around the outside, which will come into play pretty soon.
Yeah.
So that's it. So it's online. Your holiday home has survived the anchoring period.
That's
no one managed to.
That's a first.
Yeah, no one managed to arrive to mess it up.
Okay, that's great.
So we'll just go over and we'll dock in our new structure.
Yay, holiday. This is our holiday.
So this is going to look really familiar to anyone who's been in an upwell structure before. It's got the upwell interior. So we'll move in here, and then what we can do is in here we have the moon drill and the fuel blocks that we'll require for that. So
awesome.
Let's just drag those over into the hangar so we've got those ready for us. People have been. We should probably just show this.
Yeah, we should show this. Yeah, people have been enjoying this. Yeah, we posted this on our Facebook. On the Eve Facebook, which you should follow, little area. So yeah, it seems to be a fun.
I'm not sure if this was Fuzzy or CCP Naga that wrote this, but it's been fun.
We should move them to the writing team.
Yes, this is one of the fun things about the testing process as well. It's quite often we have some placeholder text and people like have some fun with it. Yeah. So let's just make sure that you've got an access list set up. So yeah, we've got docking access and we've got control access to me. So yeah, it means we can take control of the structure.
Awesome. And this is fuel blocks giveaway, they say. Well, on this server it probably wouldn't do you any good. So.
Okay, so we are.
Someone asks about the value. Is that something we can comment on?
It's not something that I can comment on myself. I think Fuzzy will have a better idea of this, and the other designer Naga on our team as well. But more information to come on that.
Yeah.
And as always, don't take anything that you see on a test server as written, because
things change.
Yeah, things can change based on feedback and based on iterations of the design.
Yeah.
So
give us your feedback. Okay, so now this is where we get closer to the face punching stage.
Yeah, exactly. So this is probably familiar to anyone who's used an upwell structure before. You have the fitting window when you take control of the structure. So what we'll do is we'll put some fuel blocks in the fuel bay. Got to remember to do that, and then we can drag on the moon drill.
Ooh.
So now what we have on this ring on the outside is this big badass turret thing. Let's just get to a position where we can take a better look at that.
Yeah, I like it.
So there it is, the big upwell moon drill. Now I believe this model is pretty much done now. The refinery itself and the moon drill is pretty much final. But what you'll see following this in terms of effect. The effects that happen are very placeholder, so please bear that in mind. I think Trolander, our art team, would have a fit if I didn't remind you that a lot of this is gonna be improved and iterated on in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
So now that we're ready, we should get started with our moon extraction.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to fire at the moon? Anybody in chat want us to fire at the moon? I'm sure.
No one.
No one.
We could just.
Well, yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, it's been good.
Oh,
It's been
okay.
good.
Yeah.
Dinner's soon, so okay.
Well, okay. They want us to fire, so let's do it. Let's do it.
So down here we've got some placeholder buttons. These will be updated. I think they'll be kind of similar to this, or similar to the buttons you get for the tactical destroyer. If anyone knows that, the state changing buttons, they're going to be updated. But opening the schedule button opens this, which is the extraction scheduling window. So here is the information about what we could expect to get if we run the minimum level of cycle, which currently is set to 2 days. This may obviously change. Right now it ranges from 2 days up to 55 or 56 days. And what we can do is we can pull this across to decide how long an extraction we want to do, we want to perform.
So how long do you want the stream to be? 56 days, or maybe?
I think we've got that much.
Yeah, we
banter.
can keep talking. Okay, so Okay.
So let's just say we're going to do a mid-range extraction for now. Now this at the bottom shows you the vulnerability periods of your structure. So what we can do is we can move this so that we know that the structure is going to be secure.
Okay, we have a good window to do our thing.
And this would be 3 in the morning on a Wednesday, so perfect time for us.
Yeah, perfect time. Yeah.
And down here we kind of have a rough estimate of the volume of ore that you're going to get, and the estimated price of the ores that you're going to get. This is obviously a rough benchmark. It's not necessarily going to be completely accurate. There will be some variance. Now we have some dev buttons down here that won't be available in the finished one, but behind that we can see this button which is add event to calendar. You can check this or not, and what that does is that allows you to set a corporate event, basically. So your corporation all knows when the extraction is going to be done.
That's good. But GM stop chunk seems like a good button to have in the game for some reason. I don't know, but okay.
Okay, so let's say we're happy with that for now, and we will just start this.
Okay, let's.
So there we go. It is ready to go, and if we minimize this and let's do a little F9.
Yes.
We're going to see some cool things.
Let's destroy those pesky rebels.
So what this is doing now is it's going to carve out a piece of the moon. It's going to carve out a huge chunk, as they're called at the moment, and that'll allow us to then pull that chunk up into space so that we can explode it and mine that.
Oh, this
is pretty nice. Again, these are very placeholder. I think these are. Some of these are completely unfinished, so there's elements of this that are missing at all.
Yeah, it is a test server, so.
Yeah, exactly. There'll also be some scarring on the moon. I think there's a very early version of this in place at the moment. There we go. Beautiful. And there we are. We're a really placeholder version. What there'll be a big scar on the moon when you pull this chunk out, and I think that'll slowly disappear over the course of some time. But look at that.
This is what I call a holiday home.
Yeah, just so relaxing. It's like fishing.
Right? Yeah,
fishing on your holiday, right? Yeah.
Okay,
So now that has carved a piece of the moon, and actually we can probably see it. You can see it peeking out a little bit there. It's probably gonna take a long while for that to come out.
You reel it in.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the fishing sort of part.
Yeah, exactly. But in a sci-fi fashion. So to reel it in, we're going to use a huge laser, of course.
Of course.
So let's have a look at this properly. So you can see now that there's this. The turret is now beginning to tractor in the moon chunk.
Awesome.
And slowly revealing. Now, so anyone can come and look at this structure and see the chunk appearing. So they'll be. So even if this isn't your structure, you could see. Oh, those guys are doing some extraction.
You can see there's a big chunk on the way. That's gonna be.
Exactly. So what we can do is, unsurprisingly, is we can cheat a little bit again.
Okay, so we don't have to do a 20-something day stream to.
Yeah, we don't have to. I mean, we could.
We could.
But for now, let's cheat a little bit, and we'll use the GM commands to set this chunk to midway in the cycle.
Okay.
So this is it. what did we do? 26 days. So this was a bit about 13 days in, a couple of weeks in.
Okay, so you actually see the progress continually just as it gets closer.
Exactly. So anyone
really cool.
with access to this window or in the corporation, if the owner of the structure chooses, will be able to see exactly when this finishes. But for anyone else, they're going to have to take a look and work out how far has it moved. And they'll be able to get a good idea of when roughly, within probably about 24 hours, it's going to end up.
That's a nice kind of gap in intel, you know, the owners having like the complete information and everybody else having to do a little guessing from a distance, which is nice.
So let's take a look at this chunk.
Ooh.
So it's a big chunk of moon, and again, this asset is also a work in progress. I was talking to CCP Savior the other day, and he was saying, it's looking really good, and saying he's constantly republishing this asset because they are tweaking it a little bit and making it look even cooler. But yeah, here's a big chunk of moon. These come in, I think it's 4 sizes, or small up to extra large, depending on how long the cycle is.
Because obviously the longer the cycle, the bigger the hole.
Exactly. The bigger the chunk and the bigger the payout on payday when you finally get it to the end. So that's looking really good.
That's awesome.
So that's coming along.
It takes longer to reel in the bigger fish.
It does. But you know, if you've got enough people there at the end, it might be worth you doing it that way. On the other hand, if you're kind of a small group of people, a cycle every 2 days or every week, for example, might be good for you. You have a smaller field, and it's easier.
And if you're not if you're not completely confident on whether you can keep your space free from enemies. So like if you're in a hurry, then it's a good strategic decision that you can make.
So, what's someone saying? 100 mil for 20 hours? Yeah. So I mean, the payouts are, I think it's kind of equivalent to what you get for moon mining now. I think people will maybe overestimate how much per hour you get from moon mining in some cases. It's a very profitable business, but it relies on you doing it over a large course of time. So you can see here, this is it progressing along, and this bar will slowly fill up. But for now, let's cheat again. Surprise, surprise, and we'll set this chunk to its ready state. So it's being pulled right into the structure. Put this tactical overlay on so you can give an idea of how far it is. There's the calendar event. Guard's holiday home has finished its extraction.
That's looking pretty big next to the station, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty good. So this is for anyone who's curious, it's outside of tether range of the structure, so you can't be invulnerable and next to the chunk, but it's kind of within the structure's sphere of influence. It's within the lock range of the structure, those kind of things. So now that we're here, we can do the other cool thing, which is
I'm gonna fire the
the laser. So actually, I should mention as well while we're here, you might notice on the stream that this force field effect has now changed to yellow. What this means is the chunk is now ready to be fired at. This again, placeholder for now, but there will be a representation. So if you're flying past, you can see
that like any minute they could
blow it up. It doesn't stay in this state for indefinitely. You'll have to blow it up, or it'll blow up automatically.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm sure people are curious about that. Like and you know, because you have to make a decision, but you have some tactical sort of window to play with.
You know, if you're waiting for that one guy that's always late to your play sessions, then you can hang on for that guy. You can wait for it to come. All right. But let's do this. So we'll press the fire button. The force field, the laser goes down. This is going to get ready.
Let's blow up a chunk.
So I think this effect is kind of half done. I believe that the explosions that we'll see on the moon chunk itself are just a version of the ship explosion right now. I think I think that was just stuck on there to give us a good idea.
I like that loading up thing. It's awesome.
And there it goes, charging up the laser. See that effect finishes too soon. We know that was happening as well. But that'll continue all the way through until.
So good. The destruction. It's just like
There we go. So it's currently, I think it's just got a really big ship explosion.
Yes.
But there we go. That's it. That's it exploded. And what we can do now is if we switch to our mining overlay.
Yes.
There we go. We have made an asteroid belt. I think it's very uniform right now. It'll be a bit more fuzzy.
Yeah.
But it'll be across that line about that distance from the moon, and all these asteroids you can see are kind of they're all moving out now, moving away from the explosion. So there we go.
All that
in a lovely perfect circle.
Very symmetric. So
So that's the process done, which means we can get our payday. So let's go back into the structure and we'll undock in our sweet cockroach.
Yay! All right, so this is.
Someone's asking about mining crystals. BitRaver, yeah, there will be mining crystals on release date for the specific moon asteroids, so they will be available. You can also mine them as normal with like miner 2s, which is actually what I'm going to do because I'm a scrub.
Oh yeah, can you ninja mine that asteroid belt with a venture? Someone asks.
Yeah, so there is nothing. There's basically no restrictions now on these asteroids. They act like normal asteroids. They're not in like a gated dungeon or anything. The corp owner has no control over this asteroid, other than the fact that it's right next to his structure. So.
Exactly, and he probably has more friends close by than anyone else. But apart from that, this is fair game for anyone who's either has a lot of friends or is fast.
Yeah, so a lot of people were asking in the forum threads is what was happening to the siphon units, which were a deployable structure that would steal a bit of moon goo from your pods. The answer to that is that they will be essentially retired. They're going away. We will offer like either, as we've done with a lot of other things, either like a buyback program or I'll convert them into something. The way that you steal moon resources now is you get out there and you steal them from under people's noses.
Go and mine.
Yeah, so we're going to head over here. And this is probably a good time to talk about another feature that is not just good for moon miners, but actually good for anyone who does any mining in Eve, which is quite a lot of people. Normal mining drones do work for this as well, and yes, you could use rockers to.
So mining is fairly. This is for anyone who knows mining. Mining these is going to be fairly intuitive.
So what we'll look at now is something called
great.
the mining ledger. Now I get to do my Blue Peter moment and say, here's one I created earlier. I went out and did some mining earlier for just for this. So this is a window that's going to show all the mining that you have done as a player, any sort of mining. So moon mining. It also includes gas harvesting. And any kind of normal asteroid belt mining, anomaly mining, those kind of things. Anything you can think of. This gives you a nice representation of all the ore that you've gathered.
So kill reports for miners.
This will also actually that's a good point. This will also this will also be exposed through your for your kind of API data. So you'll be able to give this data to other people if you wish, or just look at it yourself in another program or elsewhere. There was lots of talk immediately in the forum threads about Ezekiel for mining.
Exactly.
That kind of stuff.
Top miners.
So let's just try and give you an illustration of this with my super hacked modules that will do some super quick mining for us.
Now we can do the Alliance mining tournament.
Yes. Who can mine quickest and most efficiently.
So I really hope miners are going to like this. I think this is kind of like we've been talking in the team about how this is like the stealth feature for everyone that we've been working on. Like this is great for moon mining, but it's also just great for anyone who does some mining.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I mean, this is going to be there for anybody who does any kind of mining.
Yeah, I think people are realizing that my miner 2s are
mining really fast.
Yeah.
Yes. This is another one of those things we can't do on test servers with special things if we need to test things fast. So so the cycles on this ship are a little crazy at the moment.
Yeah.
But that's
but we
only done for you guys, so you don't get bored.
we don't do this on Tranquility. So the ore hole now, where am I missing it? Yeah, there it is. It's now full of nice new resources. So this window is delayed by, as normal with these kind of things, it can take up to 5 minutes to display. But at some point soon, we're going to have a nice representation of these new ores that we've.
It's pretty awesome.
That we've. Something that might not have come up in chat, but it's worth talking about at this point, is that there's also a corporate version of that window that we'll be putting on the test servers very soon. I think Karka's been working on it a lot recently, and I think it's basically ready to be tested. What that will do is that will show all mining done in your moon mining belts. So if you own a refinery that makes a belt, it will list everyone, including people outside your corp, that mines in that belt. So you'll have to chase those people up if you want that ore, or you want to tax them.
That's nice. So you can, if you go, Yeah, so you can't go ninja mining these things if nobody's watching, but people will kind of maybe...
People will find out.
Maybe they'll send you a bill.
Yeah, they might send you a bill for that.
Okay, that's
so
interesting.
that's how we enable alliances and corporations to hopefully keep some track of what's happening. That data, it's worth saying, isn't instant. It's more on a kind of a daily basis. So you're not going to be able to get an alert like someone's mining in my belt right now. But you'll know after the fact.
After the fact, yeah, okay. So you can have some sort of an overview about like who's helping themselves.
Yeah, and this data will also all be exportable for. So we imagine a lot of the big alliances and corporations will make their own tools to track this information, so that they'll be able to see what's happened, see what's mined, see what people mined.
Yeah. Drones. We already said that you can use anything you can mine rock with now.
Normal mining drones work. It's not kind of restricted like some of the really fancy big ores that you need kind of like deep core strip miners or anything like that for. It's just normal mining lasers and mining drones will work for this. Yeah. So rorquals will I'm sure be seen in these belts quite a lot.
Yeah.
Let's just refresh this ledger and see if we've got some new data in it. Not yet.
Not yet.
But yeah, you get an illustration here of where this is, and the moon mining data will come into this as well. Yeah. And you can filter out for different kinds of ore. And
this is pretty neat. Now, if you want to, now you just don't have to tell your friends about all the ore you mined when you're telling mining stories.
Yeah.
You can actually just show them how much you mined.
Exactly. You can
with nice colors and everything.
You have stats for your bragging.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Another little thing that I should mention about this before we move on that I think is quite cool is that we've actually been gathering this data on Tranquility for a couple of months now. So when we release this feature, you'll have your mining data for the last, I think it's 3 months. Don't quote me on that, but something around that. So you'll be able to see some of your historical data there.
How does that sound? That sounds like a good thing to me.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be pretty good. People can see if they've mined as much as they thought they did.
Yeah, so they're not going to start with an empty ledger. That's awesome. Someone asked if rats will have any interest in these belts.
So rats kind of just like asteroids. They know that people like to go there, so. I'm actually surprised that none have shown up. I was kind of hoping some would come and see us. That's actually probably because we're in space where there's no rats. I've now realised. But, they'll come and show up. They'll do all the kind of normal things that they do. They'll come and try and harass you.
Okay.
They just like
awesome.
This is something I learned very early on when I first started testing Eve. That I think I spawned an asteroid outside of the station and some rats appeared. They just love it. So that's good. That's that for now. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think Fuzzy mentioned in there that these roids will eventually disappear if you don't mine them. So you can't just stack them up. So that's that. So what we can do now is go on to a little bit cheating. Go on to reactions.
Yeah, let's do some reactions.
So for people who don't know, I think I mentioned it briefly before, but reactions are the process that you perform on moon minerals and other resources in game, like things you get from wormholes, to make components for Tech 2 ships, components for Tech 3 ships, and boosters, which you use to give yourself some temporary perks in game.
Okay.
So this is going to be a service that's limited just to refineries. I mentioned earlier that refineries, to moon mine with refineries, you need to place them at the moon, but you can actually place them anywhere if you want to do reactions. Reactions are limited to low sec, null sec, and wormhole space, so you can't be done high sec. But you could also want to put a refinery in high sec, as they offer reprocessing bonuses, which will be the only structure that will allow.
Okay. That's good to know.
So what we'll do is we'll take these goodies and we'll drop them into the island hangar. So take control of the structure again. Someone's mentioning wormholes there.
Yeah, people are asking about whether you can do this in high sec and wormholes.
So moon mining at this point in the October 24th release will not be in anywhere other than the places it currently is, which is low sec and null sec. We've actually had an incredible amount of positive feedback about the idea of having some version of this in other areas of space. And I'm a wormholer myself, so I really like the idea personally. It seems like there is a real
there's a real like desire for these kind of like co-op structured mining events where you can make these yourself, and that's really cool. So for now, we're making sure that this feature works for where it originally was, which was nullsec and lowsec. But there's we don't have any problem with the idea of having some version of this in wormholes or some version of this in highsec. It almost definitely wouldn't be the same minerals. It wouldn't be moon goo. That's definitely a unique selling point of low and nullsec.
Yeah.
But it might be something like normal ores, or it might be something new and different. Who knows?
Yeah.
So this is something we could definitely do in the future. No promises at this point, but we like the idea.
Yeah, we share the love for the idea.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love the idea that you could even just do this in wormhole space or highsec, just to make normal ores and just like get your mates together. And be like, on Saturday we're going to have a load of ores.
Yeah.
So let's drop this reactor on here. This is the Biochemical Reactor, which is the one you use to make boosters. So that's good to go. Dropped it in there as normal. As any other service module, it takes fuel to online, and then it uses fuel every hour, as does the moon drill. We're just going to go in here, and we're going to make sure that we got a tax set up for biochemical reactions here. So I'll pay 1% tax. So we'll just make sure that's saved. And let's try and run a reaction.
Awesome.
So previously reactions were something that used a very strange old UI that was connected only to POSs. But now what we've done is we've just moved it into the industry UI that everyone's familiar with. So we can install this blueprint here. It's got its own tab, which is the reaction tab here. And you can see it just uses the same kind of interface. You can set your outputs and input locations. You can set it as a corporate job. It's got the duration here, and this will show up in the kind of blueprint browser as reactions down here. So that's really cool. So I don't think we really need to explain this interface. People kind of know.
Yeah, people should know this. It's a good interface, and it's great.
Yeah, and the way that reactions work will, in terms of the input requirements, will be very similar to what you're experienced with if you've ever run reactions. But they also include now a little bit of fuel, which is to continue the current market for fuel blocks, which will kind of be reduced by the fact that we're no longer using the posits that require fuel.
Yeah.
So we can just run this reaction here. Lovely. That's started as normal, and we've got the job here running. It's going to take 3 hours, but we can cheat. So we can complete that, and there we go. We've got some pure improved blue pill booster, which then will go into making blue pill boosters.
Yes, that's great. And then you go and sell them and make a lot of money and buy more holiday homes.
Yep, that's right. Now, someone mentioned there about skills for these things. Corporate skills. There won't be any corporate skills on October 24th, but we're actually releasing the skills for this, for reactions and other parts of this next week in the September patch, so that people can train in advance and get ready for this on patch day.
Yeah,
so there we go.
It's awesome. Yeah.
So that's the reactions.
There was a question about about the defenses of these. How that's going to be?
I can give you a look at the placeholder, the work in progress stats at the moment. See, they have 3 launcher slots. They have 5 high slots. They have reasonable defenses. I think they are. I'm sure Fozzie will correct me in chat if I'm wrong. I think they're one of the least defensible of the structures, just because of the nature of what they are. You'll need to make sure you defend them. So they don't pack as big as a punch as citadels, for example, which are the most powerful. And these stats will maybe subject to change, and like I said, in the next couple of weeks we'll be releasing a dev blog with some information about this. Yeah, and reactions for T2 components, someone is asking? Yep, there are 3 reactors, one for each type. Let's see if we can find them here. So we just used the biochemical one for this? But we have the hybrid reactor, which is for the Tech 3 stuff, if I remember rightly, and then the composite reactor, which is for the Tech 2 stuff. Yeah. You might have noticed as well, this is maybe nice for people who run these kind of structures, that we've actually split out the industry taxes, so you can actually restrict, allow, and tax every different type of manufacturing independently now. So biochemical reactions, hybrid, composite, but then also capital manufacturing, super capital manufacturing.
these kind of things. Someone's asking if moon oil will be compressible. It's refinable or reprocessable, but it's not compressible. There are no compressed versions. They're actually, the materials and the ores themselves are reasonably low volume, but it probably will be likely that the best course of action will be to reprocess them on site or refine them on site and then move the result of that elsewhere. So no compression in the release.
Yeah. So yeah, about the ore. I mean, the ore, like we talked about early on the broadcast, is that it's going to be like different for different spaces, different moons, and all this stuff. So like it's going to vary a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is the.
Yeah, that's
the basics.
That's the run through. That's the run through. So yeah.
Ledger for Corp, yeah, that's right. There'll be a Corp version of the ledger that tracks not all Corp activity, but Corp activity in your mining belts, in your moon belts. And someone's asking as well about POSs and when the functionality will be removed from POSs. All the functionality will go offline on the release day, so your moon drills will stop working on release day, and then at a later date, once the transition, everyone's settled into the new system, we'll do a very similar process that we've done previously, where we'll either do a buyback or we'll change them into a financially equivalent item of some kind. Previously we've changed things into blueprints for structures, all those kind of things. So I have love for wormhole people.
Yeah, they're pretty good people.
And of course,
when you can find them, that is.
Yeah, and there will be refineries. I'm sure wormhole people will be using refineries for doing Tech 3 reactions, and you'll probably find that these are the really good structures to do those reactions in.
Yeah, so we are going to talk about this more at eVegas, of course, and we're going to put out some more communication up until then on the forums and in Devlogs, and then we really look forward to meeting everyone at eVegas on October 6th to the 8th, and I want to drop some information about that since I'm here, that there are this will be by far the biggest eVegas to date, and we have exactly, as of this moment, 5 tickets left.
Oh wow.
5 tickets left, and then we're sold out. So if anybody on here was kind of thinking about going, to do it now. We'll probably be sold out by this time tomorrow. So yeah, and then the expansion, of course, hits on October 24th.
So Mr. Hale's asking how many reactions can be run on one structure. So there's no limit to the amount of reactions that can be run on one structure. There is a personal limit, which is based on skills, which you'll be able to see if I go back to the window. But the reactions are also subject to their own reaction index, which means, like industry, if too many reactions are run in the same place, the price, the tax of that goes up. So it won't be always profitable to always run them all in the same place, but there is actually no hard cap on how many you can run. Currently we have this here, which is 11 reactions per person. I'm not sure if that's the final numbers.
This is it's going to be fun to see what people do once they get their hands on these bad boys.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. Personally, it's one of the biggest things I've worked on that that I feel like I have no idea how the next few months are going to play out in terms of, and that's kind of scary but exciting.
Yeah. Those are always the best features, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be super fun, and I really look forward to seeing what people do with these over the next few months. It's going to be great.
So I think, when will blueprints be seeded? Someone asks.
They'll be seeded on patch day, so there will be a bit of a rush on that first day, and there will be a bit of a downtime where
for moon mineral production.
Exactly, where old minerals, where old processes can't be run, and the new processes haven't kicked in yet. So there will be a bit of a gold rush there to be the first ones, and we're going to be looking forward to seeing what happens on those first few days of people getting these structures online.
Yeah. So but like we've had a lot of good questions. Hopefully we managed to answer most of them. And if you have more, chase us up on the forums or on Twitter or wherever we are.
should actually say that I would be doing my department a disservice if I didn't mention that all of this is testable on Singularity now, with more stuff to come. There's information on the forums on how you get on Singularity. There are multiple threads on the forums as well for each different element of this, so go on there. There's a main thread that I've put up and then links to all the other threads. So please give us feedback and bug reports and all that kind of stuff. That's what's so great about this process, and so great that we can get this out to people early, is that we get great feedback from people on the test server and from these streams and things. So.
We couldn't do it without you guys. It's, we literally couldn't.
Yeah.
So okay, that's it for us. It's been great hanging out with you guys. Stick around for later tonight. We're gonna have more streamers on this channel, EVE players, and more streams this week. And we'll see you later. This has been amazing. Over and out. When I find the right mouse, I'm stopping this.
Just gotta get the button.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.